My old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not treat the grace of God as meaningless, for if keeping the law could make us right with God, then there was no need for Christ to die. In my spare time recently, I've been studying through the book of Galatians. It's been an inspiration to me and a bit of a challenge to me as well. For those of you that might not know, Galatia is a place where Paul set up a church during one of his missionary journeys. And this was a church they had much love for. And after a couple of years, he heard that they'd fallen into false teaching. People that came and started to teach that as well as the gospel of Jesus Christ, you need to also keep the Old Testament laws. And this can be very challenging for especially people that weren't brought up in that sort of background. And Paul is devastated by this. And what this is saying is, Jesus isn't enough. So he writes back to them and he spends 4 chapters refuting what has been said by these people, these false teachers. And then 2 chapters trying to bring some application for that church to move forward, to look to the future and to do something a little bit different. And during those 4 chapters, he's essentially saying, grace is enough. What Jesus Christ did is enough. Because viewing the law as being crucial is saying that God is some taskmaster that we need to obey, that we need to do all these list of rules, and maybe if we do all those things, maybe then we'll be looked upon as righteous, as good. I started to think, is this an issue we have in the church today? And me and a friend of mine, I remembered a story where we were traveling to Glasgow and we ran into a friend and we were discussing this faith with this guy. And he said, you know, maybe I'll get into heaven. Maybe if I try hard and I work, maybe God will let me in. And me and my friend were disappointed with this because what that guy views God as is a taskmaster, as I said. So this is a problem that we may face. And Paul says that this concept of God, it makes us servants to him. And that's not fully the point. Actually, there's something more. We are his children. We are his children. And that's what he's trying to push across in the 4 chapters, or the first 4 chapters of Galatia. So for us, something that's really important to remember is we're children of God. What does children mean? When I was growing up, Mum used to say to me quite a lot, you know what you just did there, that reminded me of your father. That reminded me of your grandfather. Little images of the people that came before, the people that I loved, were happening in my life. Started to act more like them. That's what the message of the gospel is. We start to act more like God when we spend time with him, when we spend time in the Bible, when we spend time worshiping him. We start to change. And it happens when we first know him, when we believe in Jesus through faith, we are changed. We're changed from dirty to clean, from sinner to saved. And that affects our whole life. And from that point, the Holy Spirit works in us and changes us to make us more like God, to make us more like our Father, so that we show little images of him. And Paul at the end of Galatians brings up the fruits of the Spirit, 3 of which you'll know: love, joy, peace. And he says these are the attributes that being in God and having a relationship with God bring out in us. Things that I think are crucial for today. Showing love, joy, and peace. If all people did that, wouldn't it be amazing? But there's a great challenge in there. But the challenge is not for us to work hard to achieve these things. It's for us to spend time with God so he may bring it out in us. So my thought to you today is there moments where you could spend more in the Word so that you can get shined up a little bit more to show who he is, to show those attributes of God? And the great thing about the Bible is it says that this is not just a blessing for us, but a blessing for other people. We will bless others by showing these things. Wouldn't that be a great world if we all showed love, joy, and peace? Hopefully that's something to think about. God bless.